The Arkana body has been hot-dip galvanized and has excellent corrosion resistance. But not everywhere. Doors, especially the fifth one, where hinged elements are installed, can begin to corrode, swelling the paint. Perhaps this only happened with one of the first batches of cars, and after that the painting was improved, but there are still complaints. Sandblasting, from which duster drivers still use films to save themselves, is not a concern for Arkana owners. The configuration of panels, arches, and doors is its own, original. But the problem of rubbing the paintwork with door and hood seals is also relevant for our heroine. No one seems to have gotten to the metal yet, but the soil, they say, is visible. And this despite the fact that the body is very strong and cannot be twisted even when fully suspended. The fault probably lies with the breathing doors. Silicone helps a little, which needs to be periodically treated with openings, and then only touch-up paint. As for the large body elements, the bottom, hidden cavities, arches, and wings, no one saw any corrosion there. If you find it, let me know. Emergency and repaired, on the knee for a penny, do not count. Capricious bloggers noted that the doors do not always close willingly, and if one of them is slammed, the blast wave will pass through the remaining four. However, this does not affect comfort and reliability, but rather resembles the unhealthy habit of Lada and Kia owners, tapping the plastic in a circle with their knuckles, looking for a discrepancy with the money spent. And although the exhaust ventilation responds to closing the doors with a delay, neither the glass fogging nor freezing occurs. Somehow everything magically balances out. Buyers were terribly afraid of the new H5H turbo engine, the brainchild of Renault and Daimler, with very interesting design solutions and excellent characteristics. For some reason they immediately called him disposable, continuing to knock on the plastic and slam doors. In fact, there are cars with mileage over 150,000 and the engine, with rare exceptions, has never let anyone down. A rare exception is a broken pump. I have heard of 2 such cases. The motor did not overheat, the unit was replaced under warranty, but the cause was never identified. Otherwise, we have not yet encountered any oil leaks promised by soothsayers, no flying turbines, no leaks from under the triangular head or 2 valve covers, no overheating of the plastic manifold. Consumption is around 9 to 9.5 liters per 100, and the dynamics surprise even experienced drivers. On our YouTube channel you can hear the story of the owner, who received a lot of fines until he got used to the dynamics of the Arkana, after the diesel duster. In fact, not all Renaults are so fast. There is a pensioner version, with a 1.6-liter H4M engine and a manual gearbox. On a car of the cross-coupe format, this combination looks strange and attracts only its comparative cheapness, with the same external show-off. The only recommendation that experienced engine mechanics give is to definitely fill in gasoline with detergent properties, or separately add additives, at least through the tank. If this is not done, carbon deposits will appear on the pistons and valves. The second nightmare was the variator, which was also initially called the most unfortunate, Tchaikovsky, and instant death was predicted at the first slip. I remember similar things were said about the all-wheel drive clutch. They say it will overheat, break, burn, and crumble to dust. There is nothing surprising here. Garage experts are much more experienced than narrow-minded factory engineers and often identify potential problem areas without looking. However, practice has shown that neither the first nor the second postulate has any basis. The CVT works and even allows you to slip, and the all-wheel drive on Renault crossovers turned out to be perhaps the most reliable in the class. By the way, perhaps it is the variator that allows you to save a small-capacity engine under high loads by correctly distributing efforts, and smart all-wheel drive and accurate traction control help it with this. The turbocharged Arkana is equipped with a Jatco JF016, which has a larger torque converter than those found on naturally aspirated versions. Therefore, slipping is not so terrible for him, and the main killer of CVTs, the impact, after the wheel clings to the ground, alas, remains. At the same time, if you step on the gas smoothly, problems can be delayed for a very long time. Well, you need to understand that in cars with a CVT, engine braking, even taking into account the presence of steering column switches, cannot be called effective. Among the problems that await the owner first of all is the drive shaft. You need to remake the crosspieces, look for analogs and spend a lot of money. Even to change a humming pendant, which is quite a common complaint after a long winter in Sabayanen's famous cocktail, you will have to work hard. The Arkana has a duster suspension. Almost. That is, in terms of energy consumption and comfort, it is good, but it allows roll and is not very sporty. But it is reliable and simple. Unification made it possible to make components inexpensive. Consumables can be standard stabilizer bushings, which have to be changed every 30 to 50,000 kilometers. They are inexpensive, about 5 to 6 euros, but it is better to replace them with reinforced ones, which are even cheaper. The shock absorbers last about 100, and the front suspension arms can easily cover 150,000 kilometers. Unless, of course, you intentionally kill them. Everything you need for spare parts is available, not only original, but also from third-party manufacturers. As a rule, it is of quite high quality and inexpensive. The installation of rear drum brakes in the Arkana is somewhat surprising, but here it must be recalled that the Russian Arkana is in some way a compromise, and in terms of chassis, in fact, it is Logan/Duster. However, the drums do a good job of their duties and last longer, compared to front disc ones, which require replacing the pads in the 40,000, or even earlier. Rear silent blocks last 70 to 80,000 and their wear is manifested in barely perceptible rear axle adjustments on uneven surfaces. In the current conditions, it is difficult to write about the cost of Renault Arkana on the secondary market and options to choose from. Nevertheless, almost 300 sales advertisements have been published in Moscow, at prices starting from 1.1 million rubles. The most affordable, of course, with naturally aspirated 1.6 manual transmission, and probably front-wheel drive. It's quite a normal option if your plans don't extend beyond a snowy winter road. There are 3 times fewer four-wheel drive vehicles, but the price is not much higher. However, be that as it may, although the Renault Arkana is an excellent choice in its class, it will certainly be in the shadow of the updated Duster. And in this case, the choice is a matter of taste.